Welcome back to War Thunder and welcome aboard the Ki-87, which is Japan's rank 4 battle rating 6.0 premium fighter aircraft, and it is available in a bundle for the price of 29.99 euros. And in this bundle you also get 7 days of premium account and also 1000 golden eagles. I've calculated it through. The golden eagles and the premium account are roughly worth like 10 euros, so the plane itself costs roughly around about 20 euros. And here you can see the stat card. We have this plane here equipped with 4 cannons, two 30mm Ho 155 cannons being mounted in the middle of the wings, and also two 20mm mounted in the wing roots. Every cannon has 150 rounds of ammunition, and they mostly rely on high explosive filler. Furthermore, with this plane you have the option of limited ground striking capabilities. You basically can mount one 50 kilogram bomb or one 250 kilogram bomb. The belts are purely made for anti-aircraft purposes, not for ground striking. The best you can get out of them is like 22 millimeters of penetration as far as I can see, or 23 for the 30 millimeters. However, this plane is a bomber hunter. That is what it excels at on paper. Now why is that? Well, again, we have a dear friend called Mr. Spark. And Mr. Spark is that kind of guy that ruins every bomber hunting party. Yeah, I just said that. So this plane has a lot of good sides and a lot of bad sides as well, but the bad sides are more when you compare it to the rest of the Japanese tech tree. Now here I climb towards the B-29s. The climb rate on this plane is decent, however not really as powerful as other Japanese planes such as the Ki-84s or the N1Ks. They just outclass you in this respect. But the ultra high performance might be better, but you never use it in War Thunder, so it's not really useful to talk about this. In theory, it should excel at this altitude. And because of the rather slow climb rate for a Japanese aircraft, especially at this battle rating, I abandoned the chase of the other two B-29s and I make a boom and zoom run on this one. Multiple hits with 30mm and 20mm on one wing. The flaps came off and he bends over. He will go down. And that is the problem with this plane. You have this massive array of guns and weaponry and this alpha strike capability, which is really great and necessary for a boom and zoom aircraft. However, it always takes time before somebody goes down, even fighters. And that leads to some kill steals by other players that just, are desperate in terms of getting a kill. So the question is, how much do you think you want to pay for a premium aircraft? So let's say for 20 euros you get around about 4,000 golden eagles, something like that. For this price you could technically equip around about 2 talismans on regular tech tree planes, but then you don't have, for example, the value of the higher silver line income, and planes, especially flown by tankers, are there to get you a decent income. This attack run on this B-29 is not textbook-like, but I felt like I want to do it right now to test out the guns. Usually the guns are not that great against bombers, as I mentioned. Sometimes you have a lucky hit on the pilot, however, and the B-29 has more than just one pilot, I guess. So that was a lucky kill. Okay, so this plane can kill bombers rather decently, and you can see I still have a lot of ammunition left. How about fighters? Well, usually when you fly a Japanese aircraft, you're used to aggressively directly engage the enemy and turn with them, while you also can, most of the time except for the Zeros, do boom and zoom attacks as well, which makes those aircraft really, really powerful. This plane has so much power it can't walk. in this respect. So it is more, you can compare it to the Kia 83. I'm not joking. You can compare it to it. So while you can still better maneuver than any sort of Focke-Wulf, you are a big difference to the rest of the Japanese tech tree, which is bad if you want to fly in the same way, shape or form, with the same tactics being applied. On the other hand, this aircraft can teach you boom and zoom really well, because it is a bit more forgiving and you always can run towards your allies. One thing that I really like about this plane is the smooth handling. And look at this. I exceeded 840 kilometers here for a split second, and then I redlined. And while I have compression, it's not a total lockup. This plane flies great. So it is kind of a weird mixture between a P-47 in terms of the fuselage shape, certain characteristics of a Focke-Wulf blended together and made better, but also having some of the drawbacks that the others don't have. For example, when you compare it to the Focke-Wulf, roll rate. And then there is that. That was a kill assist. That was supporting fire. Do you see where my teammate was? He's on the he's like 3,000 meters higher than me. Yeah, so a shame. This could have been another kill. So we have a decent climb rate, we have heavy armament, but that on the other hand doesn't work too much. Sparking are a massive problem, because you tend to rely on your firepower once you have such big guns with a rather decent amount of ammunition, especially for the 30 millimeters. Then this plane can be very tanky, but can also be very fragile. One very good thing is that the fuel tanks are mounted in the fuselage, where they rather don't tend to get hit. But therefore you take damage with the engine. But the engine can take a bit of damage and doesn't burn too often, to be honest. In fact, I have never died to a single fire. On the other hand, you just die so fast to other nations' cannon fire. Especially Bearcats and Spitfires are just one-shotting you in a very reliable fashion, to be honest. And they are more maneuverable than you. So they are your arch nemesis. On the other hand, Bearcats and Griffin Spitfires in particular are very powerful against any opponent, I guess. So again, you can see I swim here in an ocean of endless arguments, and I just have to pick the right ones. There is so much that I can talk about this plane that at the end of the day, a really good verdict is not that easy. And I think the sparkings, well, they are a massive issue. On the other hand, they are an issue for a lot of other nations' high caliber weapons as well. Ask any German how powerful and reliable his 30 millimeters are. When they work, they are the best thing ever. When they don't work, they are the part that you are really frustrated about. Then there is the engine. Let's talk a little bit about it. Well, I said that this plane is twice as heavy as a Zero, and it was built for high altitude bomber interception. As we could see, it can fulfill it when given enough time. And maybe you can side climb with this plane a little bit, or you should rather, which is a massive drawback because the rest of your team is flying ultra aggressively, and at the end of the day, if you fly not aggressively enough with them, there is nothing left to kill. That is the issue flying with Japanese aircraft. You have a rather decent win rate, to be honest, but on the other hand, you know, if you can't get kills, that's another issue. So the engine doesn't overheat at all. And when it overheats, it is very controllable if you get it in any way, shape or form into the orange or red. Just get off the weapon, it cools down within seconds. Then, yeah, the engine can take a bit of damage, as I said, but then the power output drops rather quickly, but on the other hand it takes a while up until the point it dies. That was bad aim by me. So yeah, the next criticism is that it is a rather unique premium again, and you just can't get it in the bundle with the 7 days of premium and the 1000 golden eagles. I think it is a decent bundle. You can have worse planes in this game. The last video that I made about the Focke-Wulf D9, the Russian one, that was a nice kill. You know, just tells you everything about a overpriced, not very good premium that also has to deal with sparking. The next issue comes with the wing-mounted guns. Again, they are wing-mounted, the 30mm, and that makes long-range sniping not very nice. So, that was my last kill, that was my 4th kill. And at the moment we have practically an AFK bot on the runway. So a player bailed out, he was, you know, kind of replaced by a bot because I couldn't report him, and AAA hammered me and I was not willing to sacrifice myself to the AAA god. At this moment I had a plan. Let's load some bombs and let's just climb back to that and do some dive bombing attacks. Again, I said this is a nice option that you have with a single 250 kilogram bomb. Sadly, however, there was not enough time. Still, I want to show you the landing because this plane can be rather tricky because it doesn't want to lose speed too fast, and the air brakes, or rather the landing flaps, are not too effective, and you tend to flip over if you don't take care. So I nearly flipped over, and when you flip over you die in this plane. You die. The nose is exactly not long enough. It just, you know, gives you a very good rollover. Yeah, and that's practically that battle. Let's have a quick look at the post-battle results. Gaijin, please. So, for 4 kills and 1 assist, I got 121,000 silver lines and 11,736 research points without a direct booster because I'm currently not researching anything. I think it was just a small 10% booster applied. So it's also coming into second place with 3,033 points because somebody thought strafing ground targets would be nice. So I think this is an astonishing looking aircraft, but let's talk a little bit about the negative side a bit more. The first scene that I want to show you is a attack from below on a B-17, and while I agree that this is not the way you should do it, look at all the hits. 0% packet loss and 50 millisecond ping. You can't really get better than that. And look at the hits that I registered on this guy, and they do damage, but I'm just doing it with the 30mm. Now I'm joining here in a little bit with the 20mm. At this point my aim is a little bit off. A little bit is good. And I had to focus on the outer wing, and then I did it with the 20mm, and now my engine is black. But I made it back to base, and then that happened. I talked about the flip over. I brake. I don't look for a moment, and the plane flips over, and I'm dead. Like that. Another match, and another attack on a bomber from below. Again, this is not how you should do it, but look at all those hits. Look at all those hits. And now there is the tankiness against 50 cals overall. Again, you don't get set on fire because your fuel tanks are in the middle of the fuselage, which is great. On the other hand, it is just insane how much you have to punish the enemy with those 30 cal, with this 30mm rather. And now I'm confident he goes down and I break off. I did not receive any damage here, alright? So I think, yeah, sure, this is my kill right now, okay? I hammered him, I critted him. I made his engine smokes and all. And he goes down. He dies. At some point he can't recover. And I got a kill assist. This is what I'm talking about. This is kind of the feeling that you have from 50 cals, that you crit your enemy, but you can't do the knockout blow as reliable, and you just would stay in the defensive fire of a bomber way too long, as you could see in the previous example. How about fighting fighters, you know, which is something any kind of fighter should be able to do. And a massive hit with a 30mm without any registration. But I had so much speed advantage, and this plane again is so much better in its direct comparison to a Focke-Wulf that I just could zoom up again, and he was more or less focusing on one of my teammates. And I dive after him, and you can see how nice this plane accelerates. I am here in actual danger of overspeeding, but the Spitfire is also not very slow. And I can't hit him. I can't hit him. And that's it with that. So, and then I had compression issues, but at that speed it's fine. But the Spitfire is behind me. And if I would be in a Focke-Wulf, he would be now able to shoot at me. This Kia 83 is now engaging him, and I just wait to the point that he breaks off, because I'm so much faster at the moment. There he breaks off, but I don't trust it yet. And now I roll over. Right? Now I try to re-engage him. However, the Kia 83 got hit. And I got the aircraft. But there were multiple hits necessary to do so. So later that game I tried to land and repair and get some ammunition back, to then fully be able to re-engage the enemy. And then an F6F comes out of a dive, but he got hit hard by AAA, and you can see how sluggish this plane is at even 300, 400 kilometers an hour. This is the reference to kind of P-47 and also Focke-Wulf kind of responsiveness at this speed. But he got taken out by a rather reliable AAA, and then a Spitfire engages me, and now I try to turn into him, under him, but the plane doesn't react too well at all, and as much as you can take damage from 50 cals and even certain 20mm from other nations' planes, not from his bonus, not in this patch, they just utterly destroy you. Another short scene just showing you how dangerous Spitfires are. And I heard an engine for a moment, and you can see this plane doesn't turn too well. Then I hear it at the last moment, and I got a damaging hit on the wingtip. I turn around, a single hit, and both wings came off. And then there are sometimes the disastrous and disappointing results in a head-on. Those were again a lot of sparks. My wingtip got shot off, and many Japanese aircraft are able to recover from certain situations. The Kia 87 is not. In this respect, it is as unforgiving as other nations' aircraft. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you liked the cinematic intro. Please give this video a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more, and we will see each other in the skies of War Thunder.